Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike O'Malley here with the Hurricane Outlook and discussion for November 6, 2022, around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a lot to talk about today, including a significant tropical cyclone that could be heading towards Florida over the next couple of days, so let's go and jump straight into everything. Taking a wide look across the tropical Atlantic this afternoon, we notice that we have two systems out there active. We have Invest Area 97L, which is located in the subtropical Atlantic, and then we have Invest Area 98L now north of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. And this system will be heading towards the Bahamas and Florida over the next couple of days, with the potential of providing some very significant impacts. So if we look at 98L today, we notice that the system currently is producing a disorganized area of shower and thunderstorm activity. However, we have noticed a lowering in the pressures compared to yesterday, and there's more of a well-defined circulation that has tried to form during the course of today, and that is likely to be the case over the next couple of days. Initially, development might be subtropical, then consolidate into more of a pure tropical. So if we look at the GFS forecast, we're looking at the 10-meter wind and mean sea level pressure. We notice that the 12Z run does have a little bit of a stronger system, about 973 millibars upon landfall. We notice how kind of this weird northwest, kind of north-northwest motion happens, and then this dives southwest over the next couple of days before kind of resuming its more westerly trajectory in towards the Florida Peninsula. And I do think this has the potential to actually be a hurricane. But besides the wind impacts, onshore flow, beach erosion from all this strong wind is going to be a very big issue. Looking at the vertical shear, we're looking at the 200 millibar winds, about 39,000 feet in the atmosphere according to the GFS. And we notice how that the shear is relatively light for the next couple of days. We don't really have this big westerly wind belt, wind moving from west to east across over top of our system that you see up there in the higher latitudes off the coast of Virginia. And with this being said, that is going to allow for additional intensification. Warm waters, really over about 83, 84 degrees Fahrenheit, should allow for substantial intensification. There will be a little bit of shear as the storm crosses near Florida and eventually makes landfall, more than likely, but that shear probably won't be detrimental enough. So if we actually take a look at the 500 millibar heights coming off of the GFS, we're trying to figure out where this system might end up going over the next couple of days. And more than likely, this probably will move into the Florida Peninsula. And one of the main reasons for that is because we have a ridge of high pressure building towards the north of our system, and that's not going to allow for much in the way of northward movement. There's the outline of the ridge right there, moving across portions of the United States. Our system's guided westward underneath this ridge. We have a trough building in towards the north, and that's going to play a factor as it slides eastward over the next couple of days. And so what ends up happening with our system, we can see if we go ahead and move this forward, it moves inland, moves back very close to the Gulf of Mexico, but now look what's happening. You've got this trough and associated cold front. There's the warm front location just kind of marking out, but that trough is sliding eastward, that cold front sliding eastward, and so that's going to cause our system to end up kind of looping back on itself as it tries to get then entrained and adjusted into that front sliding eastward. So when we talk about the possible outcomes really for 98L and where it might track, I do believe the pink arrow probably indicates where the system is more than likely to go at the moment. Now this could change, but I do believe that this will continue moving westward with time and then ride up the peninsula. Now, there is also two other possibilities. The orange arrow indicates the possibility that this continues to move and just skirts the coast there of the Florida East Coast. And this might be one of the better case scenarios in terms of keeping the core of this system offshore. If it's able to develop into a hurricane, that would keep, of course, that threat for those destructive winds. But beach erosion, flooding, all those will still be a major threat. And then the red arrow indicates the potential for this to cross into the Gulf. That's a less likely for now. So in terms of the track forecast and how strong it might end up getting, Here's a look at a graphic I put together, and this kind of just shows my thoughts. This is not an official NHC forecast that has not come out yet. Those will likely start to be issued tomorrow. But I do think that this indicates a 24-hour period, so I do think that by tomorrow we're probably dealing with a non-tropical or subtropical cyclone that is located in and around to the north of Puerto Rico, northeast of the Turks and Caicos. This will bend back westward and start to intensify as we reach Wednesday. And then going to Thursday, I do think this could become a hurricane based on the latest models. I do think 75 miles per hour is a good estimate for now, as this makes landfall probably somewhere north of Miami, Florida, and then continues up the peninsula, causing a lot of issues. We can see here off of the GFS 12Z wind gust forecast, we have a system that continues moving westward, bending back towards the southwest. And you see just how large this system is, even if this doesn't become a hurricane, which right now the intensity is still up in the air. But the bottom line is that this is going to have a very large wind field that we can see. All those oranges and reds, this indicates the presence of over 50 mile per hour winds. We can see wind there, 60 miles per hour near Arcadia, Florida, 43 near Orlando, 36 near Savannah, Georgia, 26 near Pensacola, 26 near Miami, Florida, near 30 miles per hour near Charleston, South Carolina. This is going to have a large wind field, and this is going to create a lot of problems, more than just Florida. So we can see the rainfall totals off of the GFS forecast as the storm approaches and makes landfall. These rainfall totals will be quite high. This is now estimated. Of course, locally higher amounts or lower amounts are possible depending on the exact track, so don't take this model verbatim. However, we do notice that as the storm closes and it makes landfall, rainfall amounts will be quite high. We are talking the potential for near 3 inches in Orlando, near 7 inches, 6.5, 7 inches of rainfall locally near Arcadia, an inch maybe in Miami, 2 inches close there to Tampa. Again, some of these are going to vary. Do not take these numbers verbatim, but this shows the exaggerated amount of the potential for some very heavy rainfall. So when we take a look at what impacts we can expect and how high the impact potential is, this is for Invest 98L on the Florida East Coast. We notice that the storm surge threat is moderate. There will be an increased risk of storm surge because of the onshore flow persisting from tomorrow through about Thursday into Friday. The flooding rainfall threat will be high, of course. We just dealt with Ian not too long ago, so that flooding rainfall threat and river flooding will be there, in very high. Tornado and wind damage threat low for now, but could increase. And we can already start to see the problems rolling in across portions of Florida. The entire East Coast today is dealing with these pesky showers and maybe an isolated rumble of thunder or two. This is due to that onshore flow already setting up. This onshore flow is going to increase throughout the day today into tomorrow, and as the system approaches, creating the threat for some beach erosion, heavy rainfall, coastal flooding. This could be a big issue. So with that being said, I do hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and evening. Of course, I am Michael O'Malley. I'll probably do another video update later today. If not, I will do one tomorrow.